in the Bible, you have to wait. You can't start to preach about hot yet. I'm telling you, if you do it, yes, the sermon will be good to benches. Yeah.
How do you deal with that, somebody's been saved for 5-6 years? And
When the preacher entire sermon to get that person, so you affect the others. I just want to preach an entire sermon to get that one person. No, since the person is so long, then you can use the person individually in a wise way. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the person asks, how do you deal with a person who saved a long time?
Right.
Of course, you know a lot of people do it on the
I just said it.
streets.
I'm trying to show you
Yes,
balance. A lot of church work is judgment and balance. That's why Jesus said he couldn't justify you can't bear right now.
Yeah,
You cannot disregard those scriptures.
yes, I'm not talking about what they do out on the street.
Right.
Like you have a service now, and
Right.
that older member who you think should be setting the example where they the pants in the middle of the and that person is.
You can't. I'm going to give an example. One of our churches had a membership. And they were seeing members. And during those times, they'd read off all of the guidelines in membership service. It was not a requirement, but some pastors wanted it. So they read up the practical commitments, the doctrinal commitments, and when it was finished, but it was just, they were receiving about 4 members, so they went through all of it and said, do you agree to go by all of them? Yeah? And they say, yes. And they received them. The next service is them alone in the church. Just those who receive in the church.
I know of a person that was actually stopped at the front of the door of a church because of the way that they were dressed, and that person never came back.
Oh, wow.
Never came back. He went home and told his mother about it.
Wow.
Because of that. It's very good.
You're going to understand that, but you're going to use the timing that you have. That's time.
I guess the root of the question would be to have new converts come in, and they would want to pattern some of the leaders. And if the leaders are doing a certain thing, then how can you say to the new convert that because they're going to tell you, sister so and so is doing it.
Right, so you bring sister so and so you find a way to get, because since they are a leader and somebody who is visible, then you have to get them into proper, or they shouldn't be a leader, or they should step down or whatever, since you're struggling. That's how it's done. I'm telling you, we think it's done the other way. It's not the other way. It's not the other way, yeah.
So you said, are you saying especially if you're a young church, or are you saying in general?
Young church worse. In other words, generally, what the young church, you just have to preach nice for a while. Because you have nobody to scale. You have no fish to scale. Just preach nice for a while. Yeah. It's Jesus. That's the way Jesus did it. It's always nice so far. It was nice so far. That's what Jesus was saying. But you know what? That's eating flesh. Okay, those are there. Give time for changes, right? Deliverance and needs. You must minister deliverance in the church. But for you to minister deliverance, you have to be consecrated in God. You have to ask God to don't minister deliverance and you don't feel that God has released that up on you. You better leave it until you feel God has put it up, and don't go on this announce that everybody, it's unwise. You must feel that God has given you through your fasting, through your prayer. He has put something up in you that anybody in this condition and certain condition can get delivered. Don't just go for okay, anybody have needs. No. Because people come and get disappointed, they will not come back too. Yeah. So you must know that when you finish and you call for those who need deliverance. gonna flow when you do it. It's better to bypass it. But you must minister deliverance to the people, and you must feel needs. You must feel needs. So that's one of the reasons why people come to the church. Because they have needs. I went to a bank, and the bank said that everything is down, nobody making any money, and whatever. So no business won't pay the installment. I said, no. I said, not a church. I said, when things down, church. I said, you need church, because when things down, church, the people run to church. I told the manager, they run to church, and church will pay your bill. Yeah. So if you minister in deliverance, no matter what condition, people are going to want to come to church. All right. Gift use. Okay. Portray the area that you are gifted in. Don't try to sing if you're not a singer. It's to empty the church.
Amen.
I'm telling you. Don't, if most of the great pastors who pastor the biggest church staff, some of them names here, are not singers. T.D. Jakes, they beg him to sing, you never. Because never. I'm not having the biggest church in the biggest church. CCC, not a singer, Joel's not a singer. So don't feel bad because of a singer. You know? Yeah.
One church, a big church pastor said he has a very big church, perfect ministry. He said, because when I sing, I kill the living and make the dead.
You have to be a top singer, you know? You can sing reasonable, fine, but you know, reasonable. I use the word reasonable. In other words, you must come under the test of the person for music in the church. Even though you're the pastor, the person must approve you. Yeah. No. You're not going to go to them and do a test. You must at least have confidence, like the passing test, to be a chorister, to be a singer. But please, I'm telling you, you'll work hard and empty your church. He said the person can't get rid of you because you're the leader. You know, so they can't say,
Yeah. What about I know some of us we think we sing very well. no, truly. That's the first thing. So like we go up there and we're deep and we think that we're singing up a storm, and really it's causing a real distraction because people can't connect.
But really, it's not a person who sings very well. Once you can pass the basic test, and if you're not a great singer, and you want to know if you're turning out the people. When you think about a pastor, you must be the most sensitive, you must know when your aura, even though you're so into it, you lose it people. So that means even your gift too. It's your gift, but there's something about it needs to change. And you cannot change this. Like a baby. A baby can't tell you that they're hot, you know, or they're cold, or the food is hungry. So why is parent be super sensitive? You know, why do the baby move like this? The supper staff to be super sensitive, even with your own gifts, you know. So you try to portray the area you're gifted. If you're a gifted counselor, come on, use it. Administration, preaching, you know. Sometimes you just suppose he's a singer. You know, he's not supposed to sing, you know, or your daughter, your son, or you know. Yeah. And as a dude, that's again another thing. Not you alone here, others going to be watching the tape. You always, your spouse is gifted, that's another pastor. They just leave their spouse aside while their spouse is the one going to go to church. Well, you can use your spouse to go to church and you're still there. You're still there, you are the head. So your spouse is gifted, she may be a first-class teacher, you know, an organizer, and I see a lot of pastors just leave her out, and they're fighting to go to church.
Right, yeah.
Fighting to go to church, and the church keeps struggling, and they don't make it. They don't make it. That's really say, Pastor, and they don't preaching every week. No, I'm telling you, no matter how you preach well, no matter you preach well, if it's in the pulpit all the time, I'm telling you, you gotta watch it. Then you also must know when the people want to hear you. You must know when they're not to know anybody else in. So it's not just okay, you're just passing the button. You can't pass the button either. Amen. You must know when they need what you have to say, what you have to say. But you must also know that they can't hear you. No matter how you're awesome and teach good and teach good, they're going to sick of you.
So do you believe some pastors might think, well, you know, I preached 3 Sundays in a row, I can give someone else a chance, so they should just wipe that off the table. If they're led by the Lord to continue to preach, they got to go with that.
No, but I believe the Lord going to tell you, you need to put somebody else. Yes.
On that point, I guess.
But that's tough. You know, when the Lord give you a word, you know, when you assume that he must preach now, you know, you have to know, to hear the Lord is to hear that it's not you. Yeah, that's a word. That's a revelation, it's not you. You know, you ever preach and when you finish, you know, you realize the truth have been you. Oh yeah. Finish it, oh my God. You should have been somebody else. You'll learn next time. Yeah.
Personally, on that point, I do notice, because I used to watch a lot of some of the mega churches just to see their production really. But I noticed some of them, their pastors, like the pastor of that church preaches it every Sunday. It never changes.
Yes, because in that case, he discovered that he is the one that people want to hear. So you have to be very conscious. Yeah, you have to test it sometimes. He stopped preaching in the church, begin to influence. So you have to be aware. But another thing, some of these churches, what you see is just the broadcast. The broadcast. So it's not really the case. Sunday night is a different pastor. Wednesday is a different pastor. So the broadcast being featured. Sometimes also they only feature the part where he preached, but he doesn't preach every week. But it does feature where the head pastor preach for television. You follow me? Yeah. But sometimes, once they discover that he's a person who they want to come to, you have to watch it as well. You can't quickly pass them up if that is it.
In a case where there are 3 services for Sunday and the pastor preach all 3 services, maybe the people
Most churches don't have 3, so is a better example. It's like 2.
No, I personally met a pastor who, he's a part of CC to upstate. He said the church is very big and they have a lot of mixed culture. They're white, you know, and he says, and he has less white people than even everybody else. And there are 3 main services and Sundays, and he preach all of them.
Yeah, so maybe he discovered that is they want to hear. So I'm saying it has to be studied carefully. Because there's some churches where the pastor preach and the other ministers do what do you call it again? They do like the cell groups. You know, so the big churches, when they have 3,000 people, cell groups, they are cell pastors. Yeah, they're not main pastor. They're pastor maybe 50 people, they pastor 80 people, and they're satisfied because they are pastoring there. But in the main word come from that. But even some churches that have many branches, unfortunately, on the Sunday, the pastor of that church don't preach. It's a video. It's a video of the pastor from a main church. The people have to watch as a sermon. So, you know, there are all kind of different things. But you have to know, you have to be sensitive to know that. Yeah. It's all dynamic. Okay, now. Yeah. So I was giving you some examples of pastors in greater churches. churches, the pastor listen. A lot of churches. Good worship leading. Good worship leading. So that has to be well together. If you don't have the worship leaders together, you know, the church is dwindling on it. The worship leading, you can't play with that.
The music.
Yeah. Musicians as well. Yeah. Okay. Closing service. Why did I put that? Okay. When I close service, you can't close service. No. You only put somebody to close the service who can handle the closing of the service.